Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the afternoon session here on the beautiful Eiffel stage at NFT Paris. A lot of us here wear a lot of hats. I think that's fair to say. And I'm just curious to know what brought you to this conference today. Are you here for the arts? Are you here for the culture? And I want to do a little experiment if we can. So let's see. We're going to try this. If you're here for the art, after 3, can you please say, here for the art? 1, 2, 3. Here for the art. That's it? All right, so I'm assuming everybody's here for the culture. All right, 1, 2, 3. No? Oh, are we a room full of degens that are here for the money? Maybe? All right, you all just gave yourselves away. All right, we're going to talk about a really important topic, and that is brands. A lot of brands have come to Web3 and done it all wrong. They've tried to use that Web2 playbook, but there are a few that have really stood out over the last couple of years. And we have 2 amazing guests joining us. We have Anna Bracegirdle and Joanna Rindell, and they're going to talk about 5 steps Web2 brands can take right now to generate revenue in Web3. So welcome, ladies.
Hi, everyone. Working? Don't mind the long title. So I'm from Absolute Labs. Joanna's from World of Women, and we joined forces for this talk because Absolute is a product and a partner with World of Women, and together we can really help people understand what tools can be used by Web2 brands to engage the Web3 audience. And so Absolute, the reason why Absolute is relevant for this conversation is that we are an enterprise-level CRM product, so essentially trying to create the Salesforce for Web3 with managing wallet data. So instead of email data related to Web2 Salesforce and automated communications, utilizing wallet data. And so we work with enterprise-level brands. We're the chosen CRM for Web3 for the LVMH group. And so we're very familiar with what Web2 brands are skeptical about, what they're concerned about. And so my goal here today and our goal together is to help, if you're working with brands or you work with brands that are thinking about Web3, how can you utilize these tools to really get people on side and to understand what this industry can provide as far as acquisition, client acquisition and engagement. So super quickly, just want to set the stage a little bit. When people think, oh, crypto winter, how many people are actually engaged in this space? What's my target audience? What's my target market as a particular brand? How many people can I really access? The reality of the numbers is that wallet holders in the Web3 community is pretty immense, all things considered. Just Polygon and ETH alone, there are over 700 million wallets, and so our product indexes these, for instance. 57 million of those wallets are super active, and the buying power within the most active wallets is up to $385 billion. And so for brands, even just showing these numbers alone, you have access to all of this untapped buying power. And this is actually a huge community that you can access. Over half of Fortune 100 companies have a Web3 or crypto initiative, and they recognize it as a competitive advantage. And about 250,000 wallets, again, only ETH and Polygon, have a buying power of over 50K that they can spend. MetaMask, over 100 million downloads. And in the last 4 months alone, there's been a 55% increase in active users within MetaMask. So I think that it's just some good numbers to think about where we are right now.
Right, so this is my cue to take over. So why should then Web2 companies use Web3 marketing tools and partnerships now? I think I will answer this question a little bit differently to the title and say, why do brands come to a project like World of Women to actually work together with us? And that is foremost because of the community that we have. Currently, as everyone who is in the space knows, it's all about the community. That's what we keep saying. But it is truly like that. having an active community makes the engagement for the customers with new consumers different. They get like a different way to actually understand the community, what they want, and much targeted outreach also to new forms of community. And then another aspect I think that also easily goes sort of unnoticed, because we only think about, okay, as any brand, you want to find a new community to tap into. But what's also important is that in Web3 communities like ours, holding your NFT means something. It means trust. It means transparency already from the get-go. So if I hold a WoW and I see somebody else holding a WoW, or I see a brand having, a WoW in it, we are... As an example, we work together with Cloudy Bay. It's a wine producer, it's a wine brand. And they made a logo with a WoW specifically. I mean, if I'm a holder and I see somebody else utilizing that IP right on their own brand, it already gives me as a consumer, it creates trustworthiness towards that brand. So it helps that brand also leverage itself better.
So what do these Web3 tools actually allow brands to do? You can actually understand your customers now that you have direct access into their wallets. As we all know, wallet data on public blockchains is publicly accessible, so it's kind of the equivalent, if you're a fashion brand, of being able to see directly into 700 million closets and see what people own and what they're interested in their activity. And so not only can you, and so based on that understanding of someone personally, you can help them register with and connect their wallets directly on your website, et cetera. And then you can analyze all of the data within those wallets and use that data to create targeted marketing, targeted outreach, airdrop, discounted codes, et cetera, and do it in a much more personalized way. And it allows you to engage with your consumers directly, and again, access their wallet, send in-wallet messaging, airdrop, et cetera. And so what specifically are some actual tools? And these are tools that specifically the Absolute Labs product provides, and that brands have been using. So what we have found is that many brands who are very skittish would say, I don't even know if I have an addressable market. And so we created a very simple plugin to a browser that allows brands to see how many people that access their website already have a digital wallet. So choose your brand, and I noticed that in a week's time, 10% of the people that come to my website have a MetaMask. That could be 100,000 people. Therefore, I'm going to create a certain targeted marketing and encourage them to connect their wallet and give them a certain experience separately. So that's a specific tool. It's called a wallet tracker. How many of my website visitors already have a wallet? There's my audience right away. And again, you have the on-chain data related to all of their activity. What dApps they use, where are they based, what communities they're a part of, how much buying power they have. And you leverage all of that intel and figure out who should I be targeting as a potential new community member. And then you can segment accordingly. So I'm World of Women. I'm thinking about who I might want to engage as a new particular holder. So I'm going to look at the audience members of similar NFT communities, similar luxury communities, segment them, and then send them automated communications. So again, when we think of the Salesforces of the world, they're automating marketing communication via email, text messages, et cetera. And the same can be done with wallets, in-wallet messaging, et cetera. And so you can automate those communications, which again creates more ease, essentially. With some of these brands, for instance, massive brands have been managing their wallet holders on Excel sheets, right? But how do you combine those wallet holders with the existing data they have about the emails and purchasing, et cetera? So you can reconcile both of those. And other specific things that brands can now do is you can enable crypto payments for e-commerce. Hundreds of brands, as we know, are now enabling crypto payments. You can purchase cars with crypto. You can purchase luxury clothing with crypto. So how do we incorporate that into e-commerce and making it super easy for people to do? You can gamify your loyalty program, create an entire secondary marketplace where people trade points. And that's a brand new form of revenue generation. The brand doesn't have to do anything. But with automated royalties, you can put your points, who uses all of their Hilton points? I'm sure all of us have points that we don't use. Can we put that on a marketplace and then give a brand revenue automatically? And again, as I'm sure most of you know, digital product passports are now becoming utilized by many luxury brands, especially in Europe, based on EU regulations. And that also provides brands the ability to access and create personalized content for their purchasers directly.
Exactly. And the type of products, for example, that we have created together with some of our partners are, you can see here on the screen, it's a Monopoly board. This is one of the ways that we leveraged our own IP right, but also then working together with the Monopoly brand to help them essentially also reach a completely new audience, the Web3 audience. And the Web3 audience obviously loves this because you can play with not only your little world of women, but you can also choose a cool cat or a CryptoPunk or anything like that. So in that sense, to what Anne also said about leveraging other brands. So if you're a Web2 brand and you would partner with someone like us, when we build products like this, we there partner with other Web3 brands, which then also gives that Web2 brand a much bigger exposure, again, not only to our community, but also to other communities. And then now I'm going to shill our evening event, which is the World of Women Gala. But another example is, for example, what we will have tonight at the gala, which is a bracelet that will be able to connect you to a profile that we have on Patio, which is our membership platform. And then while having that bracelet that connects to your profile, you will then also be able to connect to other people in your community. So these are all, there is a gazillion ways that once you connect with a Web3 brand that you can then also think about, what they're doing, how, if you produce a physical, item, how you can also bring in that digital component and so on to just bring many different experiences to your users.
And on that note, utilizing digital assets to give people early access or exclusive access to physical goods. The Louis Vuitton trunk NFT project is a perfect example of that. And it was a perfect revenue generator. They sold 30,000 of these trunks, generated a few $1 million. And those holders now have exclusive access to physical goods that no one else has access to. They have access to a Pharrell party a few nights ago that no one else was invited to, right? So basically giving access to physical goods and physical IRL experiences as well, based on the acquisition of digital assets. So here's a quick screenshot of, for instance, the Absolute Labs tools. So on the left, you see some data related to the wallet tracker that I mentioned. So it shows you holder numbers, particular wallet value, portfolio value, and you can go into every single profile directly and really get a complete, clear sense of the person and the communities they're a part of, the apps they use, the crypto they own, et cetera. I think the profile on the right is Gary Vee. And here's a screenshot of and here's just trying to give you a sense of the experience of, okay, so there's been a new WOW member that has just joined, and she's reachable via email, Twitter, in-wallet messaging. And so through this product, you can create an automated flow that can be triggered as soon as someone buys the NFT.
Exactly, and as I was also saying, to my point before when we showed the Monopoly board that we have created, so, leveraging a Web3 brand not only gives you, access to their community or a way for you to engage with their community, but also, for example, in our case, because we then also partner with a bunch of other brands. If we have a brand, someone like Cloudy Bay, for example, that we're bringing to one of our events, where we're also bringing in community members, again, not only from our community, but also from different other, for example, NFT communities, when we all join forces. That, again, gives your brand exposure, or brings your brand exposure to the next level. And that's definitely, an advantage that you get when you partner with WoW. And then,
to tangibly, for instance, so absolutely, like our partnership, what we offer to the LVMH brands that we work with is the ability to access the WoW community to sort of test out their digital products in advance, because here we have one of the most powerful, influential communities. And so if I'm a brand and I'm skittish about exposing my new digital asset project to the world, now I have direct access to this community to get feedback, to iterate. And actually, I think, so Sephora just announced its Sephoraverse yesterday. And it's my understanding that they gave WoW community members early access to that Sephoraverse, again, for feedback, to get engaged, to get a sense of what that's like. And another thing to do, another tangible example would be, okay, so we'll add a Wallet Connect button to the Sephora website that's visible for anyone who has a wallet. They connect to the Sephora website with their wallet, and if they hold a WoW, they get airdropped VIP access to X. They get airdropped the discount code to Sephora. So again, thinking about incorporating these tools that connect the brands directly to these membership communities that they're a part of.
Just to add to that, just a final note. I mean, we also do that with a lot of our brands. We add them to our Discord, which also gives them like a direct access to get feedback, because at least our community is very active. They're very passionate. That's also, I guess, the thing that when you have, so WoW's biggest user base is 24 to 34-year-olds. So it's a kind of a mix of Gen Zs and millennials. And they are really passionate about like feeling belonging, but also really passionate about what we're building, but who we are partnering with, to make sure that obviously if good products are built, they also get really good experiences. So they are very eager always to give feedback.
And that's everything. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. And hope to see everyone at the gala tonight.
I will give you my microphone. Can I? I will just pass it. So. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Joanna. This has been incredible. I think all marketers would agree that only with the Web 2.0, we had a whole universe of data. Now with the Web 3.0, like we have another universe. so all the better. But I have two questions. The first question is, do small and medium-sized companies have any chance of taking advantage of such a great solution like that of Absolute Labs? That's the first question. And the second question is, what's the impact of GRPD on scrapping that type of data? It's
right.
Thank you.
I'll hand the second question to the lawyer on the stage. But so for products like Absolute, we try to take a Web3 focused mindset, which is we have different levels of pricing and we have different types of partnerships, and so we can be super flexible in supporting a smaller brand or an NFT native brand that doesn't necessarily have a huge marketing budget like the LVMHs of the world, but instead, so we'll significantly lower the price to use our platform, but we'll work together on brand partnerships, leveraging each other's connections, et cetera. And so we can benefit one another in bigger and broader ways in leveraging that kind of Web3 ideology. So building connections and like elements of that scope of work that go beyond just a transaction.
Thank you.
Anyone
Thank
else?
You.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'll take your second question, the GDPR question. So essentially, all that data is open, right, on the blockchain. So when you technically scrape that the data on the blockchain, it doesn't fall under any privacy regulation because it's all open. The only thing that would fall under the privacy regulation is potentially the wallet address. That's still debatable whether or not that is supposed to be considered personal data. But yeah, that's that.
Thank you so much.